All right. It's Wednesday, I think, and I'm in the middle of my workday, so I'm not going to take up too much time today. But I wanted to share a concept, well, or talk and kind of debunk what I've come to see, or at least interpret in my own understanding of people and psychology and consciousness and the psyche and all that stuff, as what we might call a fallacy, which means something that appears to be true, but can absolutely be broken down into its pieces, and as it is done, it kind of just breaks apart, and its falsehood becomes obvious. So, okay. This is the fallacy of self-regulation. So, one of the things that I know about me and my person, I just had lunch here, so I'm a little bit digesting. Anyway, one of the things I know about me is that when I look at things, or when I have someone give me a challenge, or when I have something scroll down my social media feed or whatever, or I just get interested in something, there are times when I feel compelled to want to respond. And so responding is kind of the way that I interact with most people. I mean, most of the time you'll not see me really respond to anything unless there's something to respond to. It's very rare that I will innately take initiative. It's very rare that I'm innately energized to do much. I'm a responder, so I respond to people. People ask me questions and I give them answers. People write things and I critique them. People give me videos to edit and I edit them. It's kind of my whole life is based around this idea. Same thing with music, same thing with psychology, same thing with pretty much everything. So I'm a responder in that sense. And one of the things that I was reading today talked about the idea of self-regulation and how, people just kind of get into this bandwagon of, oh yeah, my nervous system is not regulated and I got to regulate myself, and, I got to master this self-regulation stuff and blah, 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 blah. And meanwhile, here's the fallacy of that. It's not necessarily that it's like self-regulation is innately wrong or bad or not a wise skill to use or whatever, but the second we start identifying that my nervous system is dysregulated, okay, or my nervous system is triggered, or my nervous system is whatever, and so therefore my first agenda is to self-regulate, there's certain things that we have to kind of break this apart into, and here's the thing. I know this is a heady topic, and I know this isn't for everybody. This is for people that really only want to nerd out on psychology, and that's kind of like me, and really just want to get to the truth of the matter. And so here's what I think is actually more applicable. Number one, if you are in the game of saying my nervous system is dysregulated, number one, you are so far gone from associating to how you actually feel about an experience that you need some serious help. Okay? Here's the thing. I would never say to, my wife, let's say my wife is yelling at me or something, and I'm like, honey, right now my nervous system is dysregulated. Holy shit, I'm going to get a ton of trouble for that one. But that's the thing, is that my nervous system is just, no, I'm feeling shitty. I'm getting triggered. I'm me. I'm this. This is my body. These are my feelings, right? You might as well own it, as opposed to just separate this thing between, here's what I think I am in my normal state, which is triggerless or whatever, and here's my dysregulated state, and they're obviously at odds and they don't work together, and obviously one's better than the other, right? No. That's a fallacy. Not right, not real, debunked, sorry, throwing that down the tube. The other thing here is that self-regulate, that's assuming you know how and that you even can. Is there any evidence for that? And what does regulation mean? And is regulation even better than the alternative? Is it even appropriate? Who are you to say? Maybe your body's smarter than you, and your body's like, you know what, I'm going to freak the fuck out right now. And you shouldn't try to regulate it, maybe. Where did everyone get on this bandwagon that having a regulated nervous system is somehow better than not? Why has everyone just bought into this concept? Why not just accept how you feel and appreciate that those feelings are real and valid and represent you in conflict with something in your experience which is innately frustrating to your values? Why not that? Why not just honor and appreciate your feelings? What's going on here? It's just weird. It seems like there's this massive, again, tangent in the personal development industry and people that love this stuff, of I'm going to judge myself to death. I'm going to judge my feelings. I'm going to judge my nervous system. I'm going to judge this and judge that. And I'm going to hold it accountable to this perfect fucking state that I think is better than the opposite. Meanwhile, I observe their life through behavior tracking for a month or two or something like that, or a few weeks. And I quite easily find out that their obsession with regulation causes more dysregulation because they're bipolar states. You can't get one without the other. Trying to have one without the other is futile. You're always going to get more. And the only real viable path in any of that is a stable growth of both sides, where you're dysregulated and totally regulated. And what does that really mean? That probably means appreciating yourself to a very high degree, good and bad, so that you're not trying to change yourself all the time and you're just agreeing that, hey, you know what, my body's responding to this. Maybe that means I'm not safe. Okay, one step further. I gotta self-regulate. Gotta self-regulate. Okay, all right, fine. What? Hang on for a second. I have to self-regulate because somehow I am not okay with the way I'm feeling right now because of an experience in my life. And so therefore, rather than do something to change the experience, I'm going to self-regulate myself to avoid my own natural response to my life. What the hell? Think about this for a second. I'm going to self-regulate myself out of my natural response to an environment. Let's play this out. You're in Hell's Kitchen, and Gordon Ramsay is yelling at you because your pan is on fire on the stove. It's burning your seafood or whatever the fuck, right? Because it's just too hot and it's burning. There's a fire in the kitchen. Holy shit. And you're like, Gordon, my nervous system is dysregulated right now. I'm going to go and self-regulate myself. And so you're going to go out and breathe in the corner and hide from Gordon yelling at you. Meanwhile, the kitchen fucking burns down. Like, this is the thing. Like, so many people are obsessed with, like, creating this perfect psychology, this perfect state, this perfect, like, one way of thinking, one way of being, one way of feeling, blah, 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 which automatically is prejudice based upon what they think is better for their life according to themselves or some other delusional idiot. And, meanwhile, nobody's putting out the fucking fire. Here's the reality. I have a book right here that I pray, I bow to like a fucking religion. It's called The Never Ending Quest. And in this book, in the first 70 pages, Dr. Graves, psychologist back in the 50s, basically states that anything that you think you are is an anxiety response to your environment. And so when people go off on schizophrenic delusions and heal thyself intentions and stuff like that, what they end up doing is they're actually justifying their anxiety response, and they're not doing anything. They're going nowhere because they're just trying to rearrange furniture in their head instead of recognize that the fucking Titanic is sinking and we're fucked. So, like, at some point, you have to recognize that the way that you are, the way that you think you are, the way that you feel, the way that you behave, the way that you do everything is a automatic response to the environment that you're in at all times. And every trigger you've ever had up until this point is an evolutionary reaction that's designed to help keep you safe. And so therefore, if you're responding to your anxiety and then you're responding to that anxiety response, which you identify with, and then you're trying to fix this, then all you're trying to do is get better at responding to anxiety instead of fucking fixing what's causing the fucking anxiety, which could be your house is on fire. Maybe you should fucking put it out or call the fire department or something like that. Does that make sense? So many people get into this trap of pathological self-judgment where it's just like, I'm going to fix my brain, I'm going to do this, I'm going to fix my feelings, I'm going to self-regulate this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, blah, 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 all these things. And almost no one actually pays attention to what the hell is actually causing it, what the hell they did to co-create it in terms of their behavior, because nobody ever wants to do behavior tracking, even though it's the most important thing you ever do in your life. And then they get caught because they never actually change the thing that's causing the anxiety response. They're always just trying to fix a symptom. It's like, oh, I felt bad today. I better go fix how I felt about something. Rather, maybe, like, what the fuck's the point of that? I felt shitty today because, I don't know, I had an unexpected bill maybe, let's just say. Or, you know, I wet the bed or something. Or, like, my toilet broke or cracked or something like that. Or, like, my car doesn't start today or whatever, right? And so I'm going to go fix my feelings about it instead of call the car company. You see where this goes off? And again, I'm very nitpicky about this stuff. I want to expose some level of what I feel is true and what I've researched is more appropriate. And I see lots of people get caught in these delusions that they somehow should have a different reaction to their experience of life rather than the one they actually already had. And the thing is, you would never go to a tree and say, hey, Mr. Tree, you know the way that you wrapped yourself around that fence post to grow up instead of die and dwindle and just, become firewood for somebody? The way that you did that is weird. We should go back in your history and fix that so that you don't end up looking exactly the way you are, which was a natural fucking evolutionary byproduct. You see the point? Most people are so dismissive of their environmental growth that they completely ignore it. And then they just end up responding to their environment and they think their responses are wrong. And I'm just going to tell you, it's probably not. Your responses are probably absolutely correct and should be acknowledged and should be validated and should be made right or wrong. But probably what you shouldn't do is consistently always think that the way that you're responding is wrong. Because all that's really doing is affirming, hey, I don't trust myself. My feelings are wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Poor fucking me. Look at all the extra work I got to do. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's my weekday rant here on the Wednesday, middle of my work day. I'm going to get back to work. You guys get back to work too. See you next time.